One of these things is not like the other. I think these turkeys are a bit confused. They're just in there in the pig trough, eating alongside of them. So I just wanted to talk about my chicken coop here for a moment. I have been trying. Oh, is that an egg? Someone laid an egg on the floor. What's up with that? That's weird. None in the nesting box. I've been trying to keep up on this deep litter. I can't even stand here and talk. We use a deep litter method, and I've used it before. This isn't the first time we've used it. We used it in our coop in California, which was just a small backyard coop. We had 11 hens in there. The deep litter method is when you just keep adding on top of their manure. And it's supposed to break down into compost. I've done it in a chicken run and it worked great. Keep it in there for about 6 months or more, and it turns to beautiful black compost, and you can use that for your gardening. When I did it in the coop back in California, I would have to clean out the coop and throw it into the run for it to start to decompose. It didn't decompose inside the coop itself. I believe it needs water, which would make sense, and you don't want water in your coop. The problem I have right now is that the ammonia smell is overwhelming. I had been smelling it the past couple of weeks. I've been putting more and more wood chips down, pine shavings, and now it's just overwhelming today. It's hard for me to stand here and even talk. That's no good. Once it turns to ammonia, that's no good. That's going to cause respiratory problems for the chickens. So the idea is to let it stay all winter long, and it will produce a heat as it breaks down, as it composts. It'll produce heat from the composting process, and that will assist in keeping the chickens warm. But if you smell ammonia, it's probably too late, and you're probably not going to be able to turn that back around. At least that's my understanding, and I think that's the point that I've gotten to today, where the ammonia smell is just overwhelming and unbearable. So I'm going to have to clean this out for the safety of my chickens, because I don't want them getting respiratory issues because of that ammonia smell. So if you are unexperienced with keeping chickens, yeah, see, it's difficult for me to even stand here right now. If you're inexperienced with keeping chickens or gardening, if you're a gardener, you probably know, chicken manure consists of ammonium nitrate. And ammonium nitrate is an excellent source of nitrogen. So it's great for composting. You got to let it compost for 6 months or more to break down the nitrogen so it doesn't burn your plants. I can't even stand here. And this just happened overnight because I was in here yesterday. It wasn't this bad. But it just kind of got to that point. But it does contain ammonia. And so that ammonia smell is just overwhelming. If I leave it in here with the chickens, it's going to cause health issues for them. I can't have that. So I wasn't planning on cleaning it out until the springtime, till it had a chance to break down. But based on that smell, I either do it now or I run the risk of losing my whole flock to disease, sickness. So we've still got warm weather right now going on here. It's supposed to start cooling down again next week, or this week rather. So I'm gonna knock this out this morning while I can and get this cleaned out. I have to add new wood chips to it. It's lousy. This isn't what my plan was. My plan was to leave it all winter long. But I also got 25 chickens in there, and chickens will drop 50% of their manure overnight. So 25 chickens, 50% of the manure that they produce is in there underneath the roosts. So that's a big issue with trying to keep up on it. And again, everything I've heard is that, oh, it's going to break down the compost. I've never seen it both in this coop now and in the coop I had in California. I've never seen it break down into compost. In the run, when you add water to it, it absolutely will. I've experienced that. And it produced fantastic compost that my wife was able to use in the garden and did great for fertilizing the plants. But this is, I can't leave it like this. Even if I want to, I have no choice. I'm going to have to clean that out today. It would be completely irresponsible of me not to clean that out, because it contains all that ammonia, and that it's overwhelming. It's like as if the smell is as strong as if you'd open up a bottle of ammonia that you bought at the store and smell it. That's what it smells like in there. So that's no good. I can't have that. So I'm going to be wearing a respirator as I go in there and clean it out. And I'll get that taken care of this morning to make sure these chickens are healthy. I have this clean out door right here, which is really convenient. So I will open this door up, go on the inside, and push it all out here. And I'll still try and use it for compost. I'm gonna research it, see if I can still use it, even though it has that strong ammonia smell to it. I'm not 100% sure. Sometimes it's tough being short. So yeah, I'll push that all out here, and then I'll pile it up over where I'm gonna have my compost bin. Why are you yelling at me? And they're all going inside like this. Something special. They've just never been in and out this door. They'll soon realize it's the same coop. So I only put, well, she's gonna lay while I'm in here. At least they feel comfortable with me. Usually they don't do that. So I just put one screw on each side of the roost. So just for this reason, so I can take it out real easy and clean in here. There's no reason to put a dozen screws in the roost just holding it to the wall. You know, there's no reason for that. I put one on each side so that the roost could come out easy enough. You might think I'm overreacting with the respirator and all that, but I'm telling you, don't mess around with it. It'll give you some serious respiratory problems. Again, you wouldn't open up a bottle of ammonia and just start breathing it in, right? It's the same thing. So I have put diatomaceous earth in here, trying to keep down the odors, keep the bugs out. So I would put DE and pine shavings in. Not sure if that helped. I know you're not supposed to use the DE. in the coop when you're trying to compost, because it supposedly inhibits it from composting. It is food grade diatomaceous earth, so it's no harm to them or us. Try to get a little by little, like that. So I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. There is some compost action going on here. It is breaking down, so that's good. I just, for whatever reason, I just couldn't keep up with it. Maybe that's my lesson, and again, as I've always said, if you've watched my videos, I'm brand new. I'm no expert. I'm learning as I go here. So I would assume that the issue was I didn't keep up on it well enough. I came out here once or twice a week and spread out wood chips, because that's what I did last time. But I have a lot more chickens than I had last time. So maybe every single day spreading wood chips is the answer. So I do have some good composting going on here at the bottom. I also had, as I dug this, I didn't catch it on film, but as I dug this out, I had about 10 or so, about a dozen mice run out from the bedding. So I have mice living in here. Is that part of the problem? I don't know. I would have hoped the chickens would eat the mice, but there were mice living under here. There were mice living underneath the heated water pan, the water heater. I can't stretch it over because it's plugged in, but the round pan that heats up for the water, there were mice living underneath that, which is smart. It's nice and warm under there. So whether or not the mice had anything to do with it, I don't know. I doubt it. Having the mice doesn't bother me, because if you have a farm, you're going to have mice. You're going to have rodents. One of my cats comes out here. He doesn't come into the coop, but he comes out into the shed area, and he catches a mite probably once a day. Once every other day he catches a mouse. Then he brings it into the house, gives it to the other cat, the female, who doesn't come outside, and then she drops it on our bed. Yeah. Freaks my wife out all the time. So anyways, definitely got some good composting going on here. I probably just didn't keep ahead of it. It was probably, it's most likely entirely my fault. I didn't, probably got to come out here every day now and spread out the pine shavings, because I have such a large flock. And she wants to get more in the springtime. So keeping up on your chicken coop is extremely important. So if you're going to do what I'm learning in my experience, if you're going to do the deep litter method, you got to keep up on it. And it seems like daily, right? I mean, I was keeping up on it weekly, and that wasn't good enough. So it seems like daily I'm going to have to keep up on it if I want to do this again. So I'm going to get this cleaned out, lay down some more wood chips. I think I got one bag of pine shavings. I say wood chips, pine shavings. I have to go to the feed store today, so I'll pick up some more. So I'll spread that out, and we'll go from there. I will try to redo it, try to keep up on it more often. But it's another lesson learned on my part, So these other two roosts that are going across, these ones right here, that and that, those were the original roosts that the previous owner put up, or whoever built this coop put them up. They were fine. These roosts are 6 feet wide. And so they say 12 inches per bird, 1 foot per bird on a roost. I have 25 birds that roost in here, and they roost on the top 2, and then now that they're getting bigger, 1 or 2 will roost on the 3rd one. So even if they were on all 3, that's only 18 linear feet. So we've got 25 birds. So I think that the 12-inch per bird rule of thumb is not quite accurate, because for the longest time they all fit on just 2. And now they're starting like 1 or 2 will be down on the 3rd one now that they're getting bigger. So at some point, they'll probably take up all 3, I assume, as they get bigger. They're almost full grown. They've got a little bit longer to go, so we'll see what they do. But either way, I knew that those 2 roosts weren't going to be enough. And I didn't want to just put them above them. You don't want roosts to be directly above another, because then they're going to be pooping on each other all night long, and that's not good. You wouldn't want someone pooping on your head while you sleep, right? So that's why that's why most people will do this type that's leaning, and it's like stadium seating. Hey, she laid an egg, and she didn't even make a sound. Hold on, let's get that. She didn't even make a sound. She was in there laying while I was working, and she was all quiet about it. Usually they do their egg song. They'll cluck and cluck and cluck, let everyone know, like, hey, look at me, I laid an egg. So let's see what she's going to do with it. It's kind of nice that I feel good that she felt comfortable in here with me, working, making all kinds of noise. And she laid it. So that's good. Good job. Thanks for paying your rent. So we got that one now, that's nice and fresh. And we got that one from this morning. So the girls are paying rent, that's good. I like it. She'll be able to jump down here. So again, those 2 bars, those horizontal bars were the original roofs. I'm gonna take those out though, because now they don't sit on them, but they just accumulate with manure. There's no reason for that. So if I could do this roost over again, I would have made it taller and put it all the way up to the ceiling. This one stops probably 2 feet below, maybe a little bit more. I just did this really quick. This roost stops about 2 feet or more below the top of the ceiling. So I would have rather have gone straight from the ceiling all the way down. And something I wanted to do, I'm not sure I'd be able to do it though. I have the feeder hanging right here, and I have to take that down every time. But that's not a big deal because I have the carabiner on it. So I initially wanted to put hinges on the tops in each corner, and that way just lift this straight up and out of the way when I want to clean. This was a little bit of a pain in the neck today. Maybe I'll redo this at some point and use longer 2x4s. As you see, I got the 2x3s. I even got the ones that had the live edges. Feel more natural, I guess. The 2x3s are good because the chickens can put their whole foot down on it and then cover up their feet with their own feathers. Keep them warm at night. The last one is a 2x2. That's all I had left at the time. Brute force and pure ignorance will move anything. So these are 2 less things that will accumulate the manure overnight, so that's good. I consider myself an expert at doing dumb stuff, but don't do dumb stuff. Wear the respirator. Again, you might think it's overkill, It's not. Don't break your stuff in if you're changing out a chicken coop. Okay? So I'll lay a bag of shavings down. I'll put this back first. Lay the shavings down. I only have one bag, so we're gonna make a run to the feed store today anyways. I'll grab some more pine shavings while I'm there, and we'll get this coop cleaned up back to where it needs to be. You want to have healthy chickens. I just got this Milwaukee Fuel M18 driver. This thing is fantastic. When I had my other one, I still have another one. It's a Makita, but it's a really low powered one. I bought it in a set with the drill and the driver, and it was only like $99. I used it for woodworking, but when I knew I was coming here and doing a farm, I needed something really powerful. So supposedly this is the most powerful one on the market, and this thing has been great. I love this thing. I can't recommend it enough. This Milwaukee. They're not a sponsor of my channel, but if they would like to be a sponsor, I'm all for it. I use pine shavings inside the coop. I use straw outside all around the farm, but the straw is hollow. Straw is a straw. Straw is the shoot that hay grows inside of. So straw will hold in the moisture. So inside the coop for bedding, I use pine shavings. I don't use any straw inside. I use a lot of straw on the farm outside for bedding, for de-bedding, for the pigs, the goats, and even the chickens on the outside between the coops, which is their kind of run area. I wouldn't use straw on the inside because straw is hollow like a straw, and it would hold in the moisture. So you would have all this again. You'd have these problems of the ammonia smell, of the mildew, growing mold. So that's why pine shavings are a lot better to use than straw inside the coop. They're a lot safer for the chickens. My chickens don't spend a lot of time in here. They just come in here to sleep and to lay their eggs. Otherwise, they're outside. But if you have like a run area that you're laying wood chips down in, or even hay. If you got a bale of hay and you want it spread out in your run, just throw it in. Why? Don't do the extra work. The chickens will do it. It'll give them something to do. They will have that spread out for you in no time. Why waste your energy? Like I said, in here, they don't come in here that much except to lay their eggs and to come back and roost at the end of the night. So I'm going to go ahead and spread out these wood chips. One bag isn't even close to being enough. I'm going to need 3 or 4 bags to get a good layer down here, maybe more, 5 bags to get a good base layer, and then go from there each week. Yeah, it still stinks in here. I'm going to let it air out for a while before I close up the coop. Plus, once I get the other wood chips in here, we'll kind of hopefully cover that smell up a bit. So I'm gonna get out of here and talk to you on the outside. One more thing before I exit the coop is that I didn't catch it on camera, but I probably had a total of about 20 mice that all ran out of the coop from the deep bedding. As I was shoveling out the bedding, probably a total of 20 mice all went scurrying out of here, so they were living in there. So why you always see people hanging a feeder is for those mice, so that they can't eat all the grain on you, because they will. So as you see, now mice can jump, I know that, but I haven't had an issue with any kind of any mice droppings in here, or any evidence that the mice are getting in here. We leave it off the floor. We have it hanging. From from one of the rafters, and that keeps it off the floor, away from the mice, so they can't eat all the grain. So I'm gonna get out of here. All the girls are coming in here to lay this morning, and they're wondering why the heck I'm in here. So I'm gonna get out of here and leave them alone. So here is that whole pile of pine shavings and manure that I scooped out the clean out door. I don't have far to go. I'll just scoop them into a little landscaping trailer that we have, and I'm going to put them right over here, about 30 feet from me, 25 feet from me is where I eventually want our compost bin to be. So I'm going to compost all of this. It's a good thing I did it today because it's starting to rain right now, and it's supposed to, one forecast says rain the rest of the week. So good thing to get it out, get it over there, and have it rain on it, and add the water that it needs to compost. So we'll do that. I'm gonna pick up some pallets today, hopefully, or someday this week. Pick up some pallets in order to make a little a 3x3 section, 3x3 square for the compost pile. We'll start with that. And when you do have I don't want this video isn't about compost piles, it's about cleaning out the chicken coop. But when you do have a compost pile, this is what I'll do. That's why I'm going to put it close to the chicken coop, because I will close it off from them when we're adding compost to it. And I'm not an expert on composting, but there's a million videos you can watch, and when we do get into our composting, I'll do a video. When it reaches that certain temperature and it's time to turn it, just open it up and feed the chickens on top of the compost pile and let them turn it for you. As you see, they're down there running because it's starting to rain, but as you see, they came right over here. They're digging through it. It's just in their nature. Let them do the work for you, you know. If I got hay to lay out here, or straw rather, to lay out here, I just throw it down and let them spread it out. If I knew they spent a lot of time inside the coop, I would I tore open the pine shaving bag and throw it down and let them spread it out. They don't spend a lot of time in there, so I did it. But otherwise, yeah, let them do the work for you. And so for me, and my mentality of having a homestead is, I want my animals to either be food for us or to do some sort of work on the farm. I have goats who are wethers, fixed males who can't breed, but they're here to landscape. During the summer, they'll eat the brush in the forest for me. That's why I have them here. The chickens, they give us eggs, which is fantastic. I only have a few roosters that protect the flock. And also the roosters can work for me by turning the compost pile, turning up the garden, clearing out your garden at the end of the summer. All kinds of things like that. So utilize your animals, put them to work for you. They want to do it. It's in their nature to do it. So I'm going to get this pile moved, and then hopefully this airs out a bit and get some more pine shavings to put in there. And we got to take a trip up to the feed store today. Another thing, when you're doing this type of work, if you're like me and you get into farming and homesteading at an older age, when you're in your 50s, try to make it work for you. Work smarter, not harder. Buy a super lightweight shovel. This is less than a pound. I can pull this trailer by hand. It's super light, and the leverage is nothing on it. I can lift it. I'm broken down. I got a million injuries. I got a bad back. Just got my doctor's report yesterday that says he recommends expedited surgery on at least one of my shoulders. I have tears in both shoulders, ligament tears, rotator cuff tear, both shoulders messed up. So anyways, I got a long list of injuries, just like everyone does. If you've lived an active lifestyle, by the time you hit 50, you're broken down. So I do a ton of work with my tractor. And if I have to do work by hand, I do it slow. I take my time. Remember the basics. Bend at the knees, not at your waist. Take it easy on your back. Buy stuff that's going to help you. I wouldn't be doing this with a gardening shovel or one of those heavy metal shovels. Work smarter, not harder. This is just one of those landscaping trailers we have for our riding lawnmower. What's nice about it is that the center of balance, as you lift here, it wants to go down backwards with a load when you have a load in it. But as you see, I mean, I can lift off the ground with one finger. So it's nice and light. It's better than using a wheelbarrow. Boy, that's a big pile of... So like I said, this is where the compost pile is going to be. I'll put pallets all around it, and we'll keep it closed off. I always find stuff all over my property. This week I found 2 cell phones on my property from previous owners. And then, oh, I thought this was going to be a casing for a cartridge for a live round, or not a live round, but a spent round gun cartridge. Anyways, as I said, this is where our compost bin will be. I guess this is the beginning of it. And so we'll close it off when we want to keep adding the compost to it, and we'll add chicken scraps when we get rid of the commercial pigs. Once those go to the butcher, because right now we've been feeding them all our kitchen scraps. We don't waste food, especially food that we grow. I will absolutely not waste food that we grow. If I raise a chicken, I'm not wasting a bit of that chicken. All right, so that's it for cleaning out the chicken coop. One thing I've learned.
Boy, I'm sure glad that's over with. Me too. Yeah, but you know, I learned something today.
Is that there's always unexpected chores to do when you have a homestead or farm. I had no plans on doing that today. Did not think I had to do that today until I went out and check on the eggs and smelt all the ammonia. I gotta go take a shower and eat some breakfast. So yeah, there's never a shortage to do when you have a farm or homestead. But like I say, I bring these animals on my farm. I have these chickens to scratch around and do work for me. I have them to collect their eggs. It's my responsibility, it's my obligation to take care of them. So I couldn't just leave that coop like that. You bring animals on your property, on your farm or in your home, then it's your obligation to take care of them, regardless of what they're for. Even if they're for food, I still care for them the best I can. Until it's time to harvest them. These chickens are not going to be harvested. They're our egg layers, and I want to make sure I keep them healthy. So that's why I had to do that today. So now off to the next thing. I'll take a ride and go get the feed that we need and some more pine shavings for the chicken coop, and that's it. So I had no intention on videoing today, but I started doing that and I realized I had to do that job, and so I said, well, I might as well video it and show people what it's like to clean it out. And remember that respirator, do not mess around with that ammonium nitrate. It's a killer. That's a big pile of